Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you guys about the significance of December 21st, 2020, because it is an important date for us. There is a lot of energy happening from this date, and it will almost seem like a magical date for us. First of all, this is the winter solstice, and the solstice is a time where the veil between the dimensions seems to thin. So from the 5th to the 3rd, that veil really begins to thin at this time. And it's also a time where we're more open and connected to the energies of Earth. We're able to feel that we're not just beings on the earth, but we're actually beings of the earth. So we feel much more connected to Mother Earth. Also, it's the start of a new season. So it's the start of the winter season. And it always brings in like a transition of energy. So we're shifting, from one season to the next. And so we're going into transition. In 2020, December 21st isn't just a potent day, not because of just the solstice, but there's also a very rare alignment taking place known as the Grand Conjunction. And the Grand Conjunction is where two planets are closer than ever before. And so there's so much crazy stuff going on because on December 14th, there's also a solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse opens a portal to brand new beginnings. And then the Grand Conjunction happens a few days later. So you have the solar eclipse on the 14th and then the Grand Conjunction on the 21st. And what happens is the opening of this portal is going to allow high frequency energies to reach our planet. And so we're sort of beginning the birth of new Earth. And it's going to look the same physically, but new energies are going to be available to us, new frequencies. And I know that some of you are probably already feeling that right now. I've had so many people coming to me, clients lately, saying, I don't know what's happening. I'm feeling all of these energies and all this negativity is coming up. And it's happening for me too. I am going through something right now in my own personal life where I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought that I dealt with this. I thought we took care of this, and it's coming back up. So you're not alone if you're feeling all kinds of weird energy or it seems like shadowy stuff is coming back up for you again, and you're not alone. You're not crazy. It's happening for a reason. And I'll explain a little bit more later, but basically it has to do with the fact that this energy is coming into birth new Earth. And we're sort of going to have two different trajectories. We have the old energy frequencies and the new ones. And the new energy frequencies are higher and the old energy frequencies are lower. And so we're clearing away all this junk so that we can raise our energy frequency. And we're not just raising it for ourselves, we're raising it so that we can help raise others in the collective. Because if you don't raise your energy frequency, you're going to be stuck in these old behavior patterns and karmic cycles. But if we raise our energy frequency, then we have new energies available to us. And so it makes it easier to do things like to connect in the 5D. Some people believe that we're going to be able to communicate telepathically, which I can see that happening because I do exercises all of the time where I have clients connect to someone else's higher self and to talk to them. And it really does help to do these exercises. And I think eventually we're going to get to that point where you're going to be able to communicate with people in that way. And we're going to be able to move towards, like right now, everything is all about big government and people step all over each other to get to the top, right? We're in this world where it's like dog eat dog, right? And we're going to be moving away from that. And we're going to be moving more towards communal living. And I don't say that to scare anyone. I don't mean that, don't think of like a cult. I don't mean anything like that. I just mean where we depend more on small communities and community programs, and we look out for the little guy and we rely on small businesses more than big corporations is actually a very nice thing. So what exactly is the Grand Conjunction? It occurs every 20 years or so, and it's when both Jupiter and Saturn align at the same degree of the zodiac. The Grand Conjunction represents the changing of an era and a time where we shift our entire way of viewing the world. So those of you who are like, oh man, I've got some heavy energies, now you know why. Because we're actually shifting our way of viewing the world. That's a big deal. And as our worldview changes, so does society and the way we choose to approach things. And look around us. Look what's happening in our society. It's already starting to happen. So it's nothing to be afraid of. This is just evolving, which is a good thing. Now, the Grand Conjunction only happens every couple of decades, but in 2020, the alignment opens the door to an even bigger cycle. For the past 200 years, Jupiter and Saturn have been aligning only in Earth signs. So that meant we were more focused on material things. And you can see that because we saw a huge increase during the Industrial Revolution, and people were really focused on capitalism and making money, and that's all shifting now. Now, what we see is that Jupiter and Saturn will be aligning at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's aligning in an air sign. So that's an extra significant degree of the zodiac because 0 represents infinite potential and it holds the energy of limitless possibilities. The Grand Conjunction is going to propel us into the energy of the age of Aquarius. Now, some people think we might already be in the age of Aquarius. I don't really know. But we are moving out of the age of Pisces. And the Grand Conjunction is a key point on this transition into the age of Aquarius. And it's bringing many age of Aquarius themes into our lives. Again, we can see a shift into more community-based living. So instead of relying on big government, and I think a lot of people are starting to feel disillusioned by big government, we're going to turn to smaller community-run organizations and small businesses. And we're going to have this idea that we all thrive when the collective thrives. And for the past 200 years or so, it hasn't been that way. We felt like think about business. That was the one thing I hated when I was in the business world it was like you couldn't trust anyone and people would step on you to get to the top. And we're moving away from that now. We're moving more into an age where if we work together and we actually build one another up, we realize that we all win. And it's sort of like on this podcast, I started having guests on there. And I remember when I first started having guests on the podcast, I was a little worried because I thought, well, if I'm having all these people on, maybe it's taking business away from me. And then I thought about it and I thought, no, you know what? Actually, I'm so glad I do this because I learn so many cool things and I get to meet so many really cool people. And I don't feel like it's taking away from me at all. I feel like the universe is limitless. And it isn't like I'm not going to be able to have everything I want because Joe over here has everything he wants. No, we're realizing that our possibilities are limitless. So if I help someone else, that's only going to help me. Like we boost everybody. And when we boost everyone, the whole collective thrives. So it's actually a very good thing. So we've been so focused on material wealth and possessions before and creating and building tangible things. We're moving away from that. We're now switching and shifting our focus, and humanitarian efforts are going to be more important than ever. And technology is going to be favored, and we're going to see that. And think about it. We're already seeing this because of COVID and everything that's happened. We have realized that most people can do their jobs from home online. We've seen that. It doesn't mean that everybody wants to do that, because some people are like, I don't like working from home. I like working from home. I've enjoyed it. I can teach from home. And no, it's not the most ideal setting for teaching, but other people are realizing like, hey, I can do my job at home. I know my brother was working and they're like, you can do your job from home. And I said to him, how do you like that? Is it hard for you? And he goes, no, I can do everything in the office. I can do at home, and I don't need to go back in there really. And so we're starting to see like you can save money if people work at home. And there are a lot of people who are doing that now. So a lot of businesses online. And we're going to see more of a move towards that, which I think is a good thing. Honestly, I really do think that that's not a bad thing. Because then if something else like this ever happens again, hey, we know we can get by. We know people can do things from home. It's amazing to me how quickly we were able to shift everything from being in person to now everything online. And again, I do recognize not everyone likes that. But I think a lot of people have been forced to work at home and they're like, I like it. I love doing this. It's great. So whatever works for you is great. I loved taking online classes personally. That's just my own personal opinion. My entire master's degree was online. I loved it. I loved being able to work on my homework from my couch with my laptop and being able to meet with people that way too. I did an entire senior thesis from Disney World, and nobody knew I was at Disney World. It was just kind of funny. I was running from Epcot. I knew I had to be there at a certain time, and I ran from Epcot to one of the hotels. I had to take a boat. Now this is going to be a funny story because you're like, what? And those of you who know Disney, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know what she's talking about. But I had to get from Epcot over to one of the hotels to their business center so I could use the computer. So I'm racing from Epcot. I get on one of the boats at the back gate of Epcot, take the boat over to the hotel, and then get on a bus and then get to the other hotel and get to their business center. And I did my entire senior project and presented it in the hotel of Disney World. And one of my professors knew I was there and she didn't say anything. She's like, shh, don't say anything. And it was great because then just 20 minutes later, I got done and she texted me, congratulations on your master's degree. And it was awesome. I went back to Epcot and we celebrated and had some wine in Italy. So it was really cool. And I think that that's the great thing about it is we're going to be seeing more things like that. On an even deeper level that's more significant, I think we're going to be realizing that we are all truly connected. And again, many people are already starting to realize that. We're going to be opening our minds to higher levels of consciousness and understand that there really is no separation between us. We've had different experiences, but we all come from the same place. And I think we're all going to start understanding that. So it's going to be really beautiful energy, and it's going to help us create a new world. And in that same sense, we also kind of have to be mindful of still remaining who we are and keeping our individuality. Even though we're going to be more connected and focusing on community, it's also important to keep your own individuality as well. And then you're going to have to choose what path to take, because this is going to be leading to closings of huge karmic cycles for the planet. And so those of you who I said in the beginning, you're like, what is going on? I thought I healed all this stuff. This is why. Because we're closing out massive karmic cycles on the planet. And as this portal opens up, that total solar eclipse, as it opens that portal, it's going to intensify under the Grand Conjunction, and we're going to be able to step into this new earth, which again is more about the energy, not necessarily that you're going to be seeing physically things around you, although you'll see change going on when it comes to where our focus is in society. And what we're being shown is that I was reading from the psychic, and she said that she was shown a drawing. And the drawing shows the Earth being forced through a tunnel of spirals. And as it moves through the tunnel, it's pressurized so much that it's forced to split into two as it leaves the tunnel, almost like a cell dividing. And the two cells are the same Earth, but they represent two new energy dynamics that we're going to be able to work with on the planet. So one of the cells represents going backwards and falling into old karmic patterns, like you're not progressing or moving forward and you're repeating the same loop over and over again. And if you keep moving on this path, you're going to go past what you know and slip into like a deeper darkness. The other cell represents moving forward into new ways, things we've never seen before. We're stretching our abilities as human beings and being able to create things that we can't even imagine with our own minds. Like when I say to you, we're going to be able to communicate telepathically, some of you are like, I don't believe you. You're full of it. Because it's hard for our minds to be able to imagine that. But think about it. Think about, for me anyway, when I think about when I was in college, I barely had a cell phone. I mean, the cell phones we had were horrible and it was huge and massive and you couldn't do anything except call someone, and oh my gosh, trying to text was a nightmare. And going from that to what we have now, I mean, look at our phones. You can watch movies on it and do all of these things. Who would have imagined that? You know, our mind sometimes isn't able to even imagine what's possible. So we're going to be able to create these things that we currently can't even imagine with our minds. And that's the really big challenge we have as teachers, because I remember one of our administrators used to say, you're educating students and preparing them for jobs that aren't even created yet. You're preparing them for jobs that haven't even been created yet, because technology is going to be moving so fast that we're trying to educate them to do jobs that don't exist right now. And that was mind-blowing at the time. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, but then thinking, yeah, you're right. Because think about it. You have the iPhone out and like 6 months later, the new one comes out and has even more features. And we have so many programs that do so many things and it comes out so quickly. It's easy to see why, you know, you got to really think outside the box, because we're going to be developing things that are going to be so awesome. I mean, I thought when I was little we would have those flying cars like the Jetsons by now, but who knows? It might be coming soon. Who knows? So the choice for which path you want to follow is your own choice. And you may find yourself balancing back and forth between both. But as the planet is expanding, you're going to be able to tap into higher frequencies than ever before. But you're also going to be able to tap into lower frequencies than ever before too. And it's going to be easier to maintain and access these frequencies. So like people who sometimes shift from 3D to 5D. So you're doing meditation and you're connecting to your higher self and you're doing all these things. It's going to be easier to do that when we shift into these higher energies. So there is a need for us to really prepare for this by really raising our vibration and keeping our vibration lifted. And raising your vibration or keeping it lifted does not mean that you don't have negative thoughts. So just get that out of your head. You're a human being. You're going to have negative thoughts. It doesn't mean that. It just means that when you have those negative thoughts, you do everything you can to acknowledge it and change it. I was talking to a client today about that. You know, we've got to replace those thoughts. The negative thoughts are going to come sometimes. They just are. And sometimes we get triggered and we don't even know why we were triggered. It's happening because we need to purge that energy. So that doesn't mean stuff it down. That is not what it means at all. It means I acknowledge that I'm feeling this way and I change that energy. I change it. So if that means that I sit in the bathtub for 20 minutes by myself with the lights off and cry my eyes out, I do that and I acknowledge what I'm feeling. And then I do something to try to change how I'm feeling. And I can do that through a meditation, through a tapping, through listening to happy music, thinking about a lovely memory, thinking about things I'm grateful for and showing gratitude. All those things can really get you out of that negative mindset. And it's about being fully here in the present moment. It's really a good time for you to get super clear on what you want in this new cycle. What do you want in the new cycle? And I know for me personally, I know that the reason, and I didn't know it until I started recording this podcast, but it came to me that the reason I'm going through what I'm going through in my own personal life is because it's preparing me so I don't take it with me in the next. I don't take it with me in the next cycle. So I have to deal with it now. And 2020, going into 2021, we're going to be seeing so much peace and better things coming. And I know you're all going, oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, because this was horrible. Everyone I talked to is like, 2020 was awful. It had to happen. It had to happen because it is preparing us for what's to come. There's going to be more hope, more peace, more prosperity. And now is the perfect time to let go of all that negativity, let go of the triggers, all of those things, to heal that so that when you go into 2020, into that portal, December 14th is the solar eclipse and December 21st is that where the planets are coming close together, the conjunction. And so that is the perfect time to let everything go, do some sort of clearing, and then set your intentions. December 21st, 2020 would be an amazing day to do a manifestation ritual, to visualize what you wish for, what you want to attract, and what you wish not just for yourself, but for the world. And like I said, when you are raising your own vibration, you're not just raising your vibration, you are raising the vibration for the entire collective. So in essence, you're helping others not to fall into that negative track and helping them to raise up so they can be on that track where they're progressing and learning new things, not on the one where they're repeating past karmic cycles over and over and over and over and over and over again. We want to get off that roller coaster. We want to get on the ride that's going to take us somewhere fun. So really clear that stuff out. And if you need help, because let's face it, I have to work with mentors sometimes. I have to work with people who help me get my energy right and get my head clear. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually an amazing thing to do, and it makes you feel so much better. If you want to work with me, I can do Reiki with you. I can do like a hypnotherapy session where we go back and we look at things. I can do past life regression where we can look at old karmic patterns. There's so many things. I can just do a reading for you. Even that gives us clarity sometimes. Or coaching to help you change your mindset and learn new tools and patterns of behavior that really shift your life. Or you can even do one of my online courses so that you do it at your own pace. That Love Your Life course or You Are Lovable. Both of those courses are amazing to help you shift your mindset and to help you heal those negative energies that you're holding on to. Really, I can't impress upon you enough. Please do the work because we're about to be propelled into the most amazing time. And I read something the other day, and I think this is going to be an upcoming post on one of my social media sites, but I read something that said an archer pulls back his bow just before he launches the arrow. So it may feel like you're being pulled backwards right now. It may feel like you're going backwards and that you're stuck, but you're about to be propelled into your greatest season ever. So it's time for you to get ready for that. It's time for you to get ready for that and get excited because how amazing is that going to be? That's going to be so amazing. So get ready for that and do all of the things you need to do in order to prepare for that. All right, guys. Well, I, of course, pulled a card for you today. And the card I pulled is from my own deck, Divine Whispers. And it is Finances Do Not Need to Create Fear. Are you allowing a bad relationship with money to affect your finances? Money is just energy, but somewhere along the way, we created stories about money that keep us stuck and broke. You can become completely debt-free and attract all of the money you desire. You simply have to change the way you think and feel about money. The universe wants to bring us all that we desire, but we must first be in alignment with that energy. Start by seeing money as something that comes to you easily. Call on your spiritual team if you need help releasing fear surrounding money. You can also ask the universe to put you in touch with someone who can help you get your finances in order. Remember, you are always being taken care of by the universe. There are some money mantras that go with this card, and you may want to say these to yourself every day. I attract money easily and effortlessly. Money comes to me in unexpected ways. The money I spend is multiplied back to me. I make money while I sleep. My bank account is increasing daily. I always have more than enough money. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. As always, if you like this podcast, the greatest compliment you can give me is to leave me a positive review or refer me to someone else. So please leave me a review from wherever you're listening, and please subscribe to my podcast. Also, don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading. If you show up for the live, I'll pull a card especially for you. I also offer many services on my website, melissaoatman.com. You can go there, check those out, and from the offerings page, which the web address is just melissaoatman.com/shop, you can purchase the session directly there. And then when you're ready to book, contact me and we'll set it up. I have evening availability after 4 Central, and I have Saturday and Sunday afternoon, late morning, early afternoon. So contact me. We will put the best time for you possible. And all of my sessions are done online through Zoom, so you never have to leave the comfort of your own home. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am so thankful for each and every one of you and for you being a part of my tribe. I am sending you love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.